I'm Amber Kimmel with Kimmel Collective. Here we are with WTLA, and today we have Rusty with us.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. I've been wanting to do this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel like we're bringing you to the light. A lot of people don't know that they probably know you first maybe as the Hardin Simmons girls soccer coach.
Yeah.
Ladies head soccer coach.
Yeah, that's what I guess that's what brought me back to Abilene, right? Grew up here and everything, and that's what brought me back to Abilene. And then because of my real estate stuff, got to be paired with you.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So you're also a real estate here in Abilene with Kimmel Collective,
Yep.
and a big part of our community.
Yeah, I love it. My dad was a pastor at Calvary Baptist Church for 15, 16 years. My grandparents gave the land for Beltway Park Church back in the 80s, and my grandfather even built the house, the president's house at Hardin Simmons, and then the Twin Oaks addition out by Wiley High School is all of my family. Every street in that neighborhood, that subdivision, is named after people in my family.
Now, is one of the streets named after you?
Rusty.
Yeah, I used to live on Rusty.
Rusty's there. Dusty.
I never knew
Dusty,
that. That's funny.
Dusty Circle, Rhine Circle, Dusty Way, all that stuff. Millie Court.
Yeah.
Those are all it's my grandparents. My Velta was my great aunt.
Okay.
And so yeah, we're all in there. And we grew up on Twin Oaks Drive in San Angelo, and so my grandfather built that subdivision over there.
I never knew that.
And the world ended there. That was before the old high school or the new high school was built.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're ingrained in the community in more ways than people know.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, funny thing about that, I was talking to a developer late last week, and he said, Amber, I just need to do one more development because I need to name the street. I got another set of family that I need to name the streets after. So
it's funny. Well, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Ann Dunnigan's house when that was built years ago? I
don't think so.
It was a long time ago. She was big into, I think, horses and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, that was another one Granddaddy built back in the.
Where was it at?
It's out towards Potosi off of Bacasita Farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back when Bacasita Farms was one house.
Yes.
So. Yeah. So that's interesting that we get to do that. And so that's what kind of brought me all back around. So I get to be a part of all of it.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, how is the soccer season?
We had a great year, back-to-back conference championships since I've got here, 27 out of the last 28.
Very cool.
And we got 11 recruits coming in this fall, and ready to, hopefully I won't mess it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just drive the
pressure.
bus. Yep, just book the buses, drive the buses, and pay for it. I always joke that I just hand my credit card to my assistant coach, like my wife, and say, make sure the girls have food and the right clothes. That's it. I just try to get out of the way.
Very cool. Well, what did you bring in today? What do you have there?
Well, that's interesting. You know, we talk about in real estate things that happen, right? So this weekend, I was out of town. I came back in and I checked my mail, and I had this wonderful letter from Potosi Water Supply. And I'm sure there's going to be other people, according to the conversations I had yesterday, that got one. So my house, we bought a house on the Potosi side, Wiley east side. After being here for a whole year, we were living in a 650 square foot house on campus while we were searching for a home with 3 children and 2 dogs.
That was very impressive.
It was impressive that we pulled it off. We are still married and the children didn't die, so we're good. But we found a beautiful home. It's on an acre, pool, great stuff. And the reason we bought it was there's a 750 square foot house in the backyard. Not an apartment, but like a true beautiful little home, everything. The couple that were there before us ran a missionary group, and so that was kind of an office that they had. They leased it out to a company or whatever. But for us, we looked at it. I have a retired father-in-law, and I have a retired mother, and we were like, that's a perfect opportunity. If they're tired of paying their bills, we could take care of them, put them over there. Has a kitchen, has a bathroom, and a 1-bedroom situation. All this, I mean, it's beautiful. So we were so excited. But out of the clear blue, a year later, I get a letter yesterday that basically states, you only have 1 water meter over there, and since that house is attached, you have what's considered a double hookup, and if you don't get a new water meter for that little house, we can disconnect your services.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was interesting, and that as we went through this process yesterday, that I don't think I'm the only person, if you know that area out there like I know you do, I don't think I'm the only person that has probably a double hookup out there, if that makes sense.
No, there's lots of structures on properties out there.
And they're even including like horse barns or anything.
So basically, you get a letter, and what you called and spoke with the water department,
Yeah.
I think, correct?
Yeah.
And basically, like with summary is, here's a $5,000 bill.
Pretty much, yeah, because it was, well, let's go ahead and talk about the fact that you need to pay $200 just for us to come out and look and see what's going on.
Oh, uh-huh.
Right? And they love to round that up into a feasibility study. So a $200 feasibility study to see if there's any leaks, to see if there's any problems, to see if you can even qualify. And I said, well, what if I don't qualify, if there's a problem? And they said, well, then we'll just have to cut off service. And I was like, well, to what? And they were like, to the whole property. I said, well, that's where I live. You can't turn that off. And he said, well, if it passes the feasibility study, then you'll need to get a separate water meter. We'll have to put that little house on a separate water meter. And I said, well, that's interesting because I don't pay taxes on that. That's part of all my homestead. So you're creating basically you'd be creating a whole new house number, right? Because it's not a house. It's within my property line. It's my home. It's considered like an extension of my home. And he said, well, that's what we'd have to do. And I said, okay, well, then what would that run me? And he said, well, a new water meter would run you $4,500. And I said, okay. And I refused to pay $4,500. And he said, well, then we'll disconnect the service to your house.
Oh.
And I said, to the small house. And he said, no, to the whole house. If you don't, you can't have any water going out there. And I said, well, I don't think you want, I think you're probably going to want to keep talking to me and not my wife in this situation. So we didn't come to any resolutions yesterday on the phone. But according to him, I was the 40th call at least that they had taken, and I did the simple math, and that sounded like about, I don't know, $160,000 of revenue that seems to be getting created for a situation that I'm not really still understanding where the problem lies. My question is, if I'm paying the bill for the water that is provided to that house, then I'm trying to figure out why there's a problem. Does that make sense?
Right. And from what I understand, it's something that's coming down the pipeline from TCEQ.
Right.
Is that the
right?
regulates that?
According to this person, it's not. I will say, I'm not saying that Potosi Water woke up yesterday and decided they were doing it. According to them, the state has decided to make a crackdown on these double hookups, and so then they called Abilene, and because Potosi gets the water from Abilene, then Abilene passed the buck to Potosi Water Supply, who then gets to make the letters to the
I wonder if that's going to carry over, like if they would try to carry over the same thing to Abilene as well. I mean, because I know there's tons of structures, tons of properties that don't have multiple water meters.
You're talking homes in Sales Boulevard, and I know I looked at several homes in Elmwood when we were considering at that time staying in town. And they all, again, there had little mother-in-law apartments out back and all that kind of stuff, and I don't remember. Granted, I wasn't walking around looking for a second water meter in the ground, because why would I? But I've got to think that there's more than 40 people in the Abilene wonderful area that's going to have multiple situations like this.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just still can't wrap my head around, getting a letter in the mail and all these people being subject to paying $5,000 or not having water.
Yeah, well, and I think that was my deal. There's a line in here that says, that they maintain an active list of suspected violations, and customers who are in violation that fail to contact our office after receiving this notice will receive an additional certified letter and may be subject again to disconnection of service procedures. So I called I called because the letter says call, and I followed the deal, and I think I guess I was waiting for maybe even to hear them say, well, we're going to grandfather those of you in that don't know, and now moving forward we're going to do this. Instead of we're just going to go in and blow up the whole thing and correct it. Because I was like, well, what if I hadn't called in? What if I'd have just assumed I'm fine, I'm paying my water bill?
Right.
And he said, well, then you'd be getting a certified letter and be subject to disconnection.
So they give you this letter because they know what you already have there.
Right, because I asked that question. I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I said, I'm going to go ahead and assume you know that I have a house out back. And he said, well, yes, sir, we've done our due diligence, we know who has them and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, then why did you send this to every single person in Potosi? Because you told me you sent it to every single person in the Potosi Water Supply. And he said, well, we just thought it was better to send it to everyone instead of just those others. But I'm the one getting singled out because I have a house in my backyard. So I don't have an extra $4,500 laying around to throw an extra water meter in the backyard.
Right.
You know?
I'm just so curious to see how it will play out and what will happen, because I just don't see how that's feasible for people.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have a ton of money. I mean, we could maybe end up making it work, but there's plenty of people in that area that don't have any kind of money to be able to do this, and to suddenly be told, now their solution was, now we haven't set a hard deadline date, so we don't know when that's coming yet.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I was like,
Okay.
well, then why are you sending a letter now? And it's, was this just going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 2 days from now? Like, so.
Start saving
And he
up.
said, well, whenever we make the decision and we set a date, it has to be done. And I'm like, how do you just do that to people?
Interesting.
And like I said, we just bought the house a year ago, and it's not like I'm dumb to the rules.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and
we
part
got
of what
multiple
really
real estate people enacting it, and title companies, and everybody's looking at it, and
right.
nobody said, hey, did you know we only have one water meter on this separate house out here? And the plumber that installed the water to go out there didn't say, hey, you need to have a separate
By
meter.
the way,
Right? And nothing.
Yeah, that's part of what really piqued my ears about it, is because being in real estate, you want to help people be the most informed and to know what they're getting into. But it just kind of goes to show then there's things like this that come out of
Oh, there's, like
nowhere.
I said,
There would have been no way
complete surprise.
for anyone to have known.
And I'm glad I'm at least in the business, in the industry. I mean, it was enough red flags for me to freak out. But I mean, can you imagine if you're just sitting around on a Monday morning and you open up your mail and you literally have no idea? And I'm going to say, because I've only been in the house for a year, I'm sure that people got this letter, may have been in their homes 5, 10, 15 years and had no situation whatsoever like this come up. And now
Right.
suddenly you're being told. So there's got to be more people out there than me that are
Oh yeah.
pretty upset.
I've spoke to many people who have lived out in that area for 30 plus years.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm sure they have no idea and no anticipation of
No.
that situation.
Well, and my question is, if 100 people decide they're not going to do this, like how are you really going to shut off 100 people's water
Running
supplies?
water?
Yeah, running water. So
Yeah.
I mean, I got
It just
I got
seems
3
kinda
kids under
unreal.
7. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to end up well if you shut off my water for
Yeah.
situation. So I don't know what's going to happen.
So I would love to hear from the people and to know like what do you do about it, and what are your thoughts?
And that's and again, being a person in the community like I am, and the job that I am, I know I'm throwing myself out here a little bit and doing the conversation, because I was like, great, here I am, the guy over
Put
here.
your face out there.
And like I was telling you before we came on air, my grandfather was a home builder here in town and everything. So I'm kind of like, I'm not clueless to a lot of these things. There's a lot of things I don't know. I don't even try to. I mean, there's plenty of times I call you to get questions answered on real estate stuff, but this is one that I was a little bit caught off guard. I mean, this one has like barns with living quarters, detached garage apartments.
Yeah, I think it says RVs
RVs as an additional I mean, in my neighborhood alone, there's 10 RVs that sit out that are hooked up.
So, I mean, is that the same thing as? I mean, I guess it's different than if you run a water hose off.
Well, that's my confusion. Okay, so now thinking about an RV, right? My family member comes in with an RV and parks it, and they're going to stay for 30 days. Are you telling them they have to have a water meter for that RV to be?
Right.
That's where we're going with this, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's what it kind of read like.
Yeah. Yeah, an RV used as additional residences or that stay connected to services. So if somebody keeps their RV out there and friends
Is
come over,
living there.
then you got to have a water meter for an RV now.
I think there's definitely going to have to be more information that comes about, and I think I can't help but think they're going to have to grandfather.
There's going to have to be something. There has
People
to be. I'm trying to laugh about it today. Yesterday morning, I was not laughing whatsoever.
I could
The more
tell
I've
in your
talked with
voice.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you know
you
me.
were-
I'm pretty
Yeah.
laid back. I don't really have a lot of dogs and a lot of hunts, and I'm very chill. I don't really get too worked up about a lot of things, but this one,
Yeah.
it was interesting that my wife was like, well, they can't do anything yet, so let's just take it. I was waiting for her to explode, so we had
So
some fun
she
conversation.
took it with stride.
Well, because she just said, well, we don't have 4,500, so it doesn't matter what they say. We're not putting a water meter in. So she was pretty black and white too. So
Yeah, she's like, well, the way I see it.
yeah, I was like, I agree. I don't know. I'm not going to whip out a credit card to put a water meter on. That FYI, people, you can go on to Amazon and get a water meter for about $150. So somebody's getting paid a lot of money to come out and install a water meter.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything else. That's all I know. The simple math isn't adding up to me. Like I said, had I got on the phone call and they said, yeah, this sucks, it's going to be $500, I would have still been frustrated.
Sure.
But $500 compared to $4,500, that's more than my house payment.
Right.
Yeah.
I would be really curious. I mean, I can't imagine the person taking those calls and giving people that information back in a straight tone, you know?
Well, I said after 40 calls, how many of you said, well, you're about the 40th one today. And I said, well, you're getting really polished at what you're saying to me. I'm glad I'm the 40th one. And I don't know if he thought it was as funny as I did, but he was like, yeah, you could tell he was like, yeah, I'm not really enjoying my job right now.
I imagine. Well, it will be interesting to watch and see, you know, what happens and how that plays out. But it was just one of those things that came up in our community that it was just like, how is something like that?
Well, and I'm glad we brought it, because I'm going to say, those of you who haven't called, I'd like to hear what your conversation is. If you make the call, I want to see if it stays pretty consistent. And if you haven't called, now you know what they're going to tell you. So
Right.
I'm sorry if I busted your chops with $4,500 bills coming, but I just am very interested to see how this thing's going to shake out. I think that there's got to be a way that they say, okay, anything after the year 2025, you know, you're going to have to do this, but everything. That's what makes sense to me.
Right.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's 5,000 people out there that have the same hookups. I have no idea.
Right.
So I'm
That's
interested in that.
interesting. Yeah. Well, and I'll definitely never show another house again without looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
How many water meters do we have here? Or is this going to fall under this scenario?
Again,
So,
I know everybody that I talked to, I even was talking about the inspector, like nobody's even looked at the fact that that's the case, because if I'm the one, the question you and I both have is, if the water is running to that home and I'm paying my water bill every month, I'm trying to figure out where the problem is.
right.
That's in simple terms of non-real estate people or anything, if I'm a layperson in the community that is paying my water bill, I have a pool, and I don't get charged extra for having a pool, right? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I have two septic systems that are out there. Like, all these things occur in my house, so something had to be done, and I'm trying to figure out, I have electricity. In the same regard, I was saying this, there's electricity obviously in that building, and Taylor can't, I'm gonna open my mouth now, and Taylor's probably gonna do something about this too, but
You might be getting another
right,
letter.
to get another letter. But I got Taylor Electric, and Taylor Electric hasn't sent me a letter that says, oh, by the way, you have to have a separate meter out there. I think I may have a meter out there, but it runs and it goes to the same bill, I guess. So I'm not sure how that's set up, but it's just a very interesting time for suddenly just to get a letter, no heads up or anything, just congratulations, you are the prize
With
owner.
a big price tag.
Yeah. And notice they didn't put the price tag in the letter. So you have to call in to get told the wonderful news.
To get the details.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you, bringing that to light and sharing your experience with us, because I think it's important for us to be in tune with what's going on in our community, what's happening, and how we can best set our clients up for success. And part of that is by knowing what's out there and what's happening. And
well,
what to
and I
be
do.
looking
I
for.
think it's also important for people to recognize too that all of us are people. I'm a real estate agent. I think I'm pretty versed on what I'm trying to do every day I go to work, and yet here I am as a real estate agent dealing with everything just like Joe Smith, who's around the corner, is dealing with.
Right.
And so we're not any different than anybody else. We're as human as anybody else.
Right.
I don't want to break a law. Like, it's not like I'm trying to do that.
Trying to be non-compliant.
I just know I bought a house that was already set up that way and everything was good to go and there was no problems. So why would I question that situation? So it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing goes.
Yeah, so there was a little blurb in the Potosi community page where people, and the comments weren't really, as spicy as I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't call in.
Right. If you're told, like I said, I know that, we all know as a realtor when something's wrong with the water meter and you're getting ready to go in, like nobody wants to go through the static testing and all that. So right. So that's what I was like, oh man, here we go. They're going to run a static test line. I'm going to have a problem. That's where I was going with it.
They're going to shut it down. You're going to have to rebuild it.
100%. And then my other thought was, okay, well, you're just going to take another water meter and just slide it next to that one, just attach it and run the water line. But I don't, like, my point to the second meter is, aren't you still tapping into the same water line?
Same water.
Because you're not
yeah.
asking me to build new
Same
water
person's
lines.
paying it.
Yeah, that's what I just don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it adds up.
Because unless you put a water meter in, unless you run new water lines from that new water meter and dig into my yard all the way to the back and completely replumb that house, how do you even know what water is going in?
Right. I don't know.
That's what doesn't make sense to me.
It just doesn't add up.
No.
Yeah. So you had mentioned earlier that there's a step before installing that water meter. What did they say that looked like, or what happens if it's...
Right. So the wonderful words we love to hear in real estate, feasibility study, that usually means somebody comes out and does something, and you're hoping, take it like this. I took it as, when we deal with foundation problems, right? Somebody comes out and they okay, we have a foundation problem, and then they go reset the foundation, and they got to come back in and they got to run the water line test to make sure that is there any water pressure, is there any leakage or anything like that. So that was the first step, was the $200 just to have them come out to run the feasibility study. And when they come out, my understanding was they were going to run that, check all the water lines, make sure there was no leak to that house, make sure there's nothing like that going on. And so that then in of itself, if there's a problem, then we don't even get to the water meter side. Then they're like, well, now you've got to fix that before we can even go to this. So in other words, they're asking me to just sit with a blank check and wait and see what goes on. With a feasibility study that I don't control the people that are coming out, it sounded like the city sends somebody out and does it. So whoever that is comes out, does some type of feasibility study that I don't know, I've never seen done.
So
and
that
I've
leads
got to wait
to
and see.
well, what if you fail? What if it
If
fails?
it fails, then what?
Then what are you looking
Yeah.
at? It could be, like you said, an open
And again,
open check.
literally the only reason I bought the property that I'm in, I told you, you helped me look for my own home, because there were times I was like, Abilene's changed a lot since I got here. And one of the reasons we bought this home was it fit everything we've ever wanted. An extra home for an in-law, for a family, whatever we wanted to do. Recently we had somebody that was a friend of mine's, a real estate agent in Frisco, and her nephew got a job at the data center and they couldn't find anything. So the kid leased my house for 2 months while he found something. That's why we have that place.
Yeah.
And so...
Nice option to have.
Yeah, it's a beautiful option, right? And I could charge if I want to. And the new men's soccer coach at Hardin Simmons has been staying with me 2 nights a week while he comes in town and finishes up school where he's at now. So all those things work out great for us. And so then my problem is, okay, if you tell me I can't use that house, or you're going to shut off water or whatever, I wouldn't have bought that house.
Right.
It's nice. I love it. It fits us. But I really could have used a home with 700-800 more square feet for 3 kids to have more space in. But we chose this home because of that. And now we're kind of feeling like we just got sideswiped a little bit, and we just don't know. There's just too many things up in the air of what we're trying to accomplish. And I keep going back to, okay, then how do you shut off the water? Are you really telling me you're going to shut off the water to the whole house because of that one house?
Well, it's
and
interesting
if you
to
say
me
you're going
that
to shut it off just to that house, well, then I don't have any purpose for that house in my backyard.
Right.
But it's a permanent foundation.
So
it's
they take away your values? Does that, are they going to decrease your property values because you no longer have water
because
to that
because
structure?
that house at 750 square feet was counted in the square footage of the home, because when it was posted, it was 3,000 square feet. Remember we talked about that too, because I was like, we've never found this is a great price for 3,000. Then we get out there, it's like, well, it's 2,300, 750's out there. So it was like, dang. So we were paying for 3,000 square feet of property.
Right.
My home price is at 3,000 square feet of property. So this home is part of our home, and I'm getting penalized now for having an extra 750 square feet just because it's not attached to my house.
It could definitely be problematic.
It was, it's definitely a lot of things.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of things.
Thank you again, Rusty, for coming in and sharing that, your experience with us. I think the firsthand is some of the best knowledge that we can get on that.
Sure.
We appreciate you being here. We are going to continue to follow the story with the Potosi Water Department and see how things go. If you guys have information or things that we should know, drop them in the comments, reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you.